The Prototype, 1957 to 1963. Power does not always manifest on a stage. It does not always wear a costume, carry a platinum record, or operate from a high-rise executive suite. Some power moves in the shadows, without a beat, without a rhythm, without a signature, and without an audience. This is not a story about a pop song. This is a story about architecture, the invisible structure that allowed a failed folk track to become a global anthem without its creator's knowledge. The legendary partnership of Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel began not in the neon-lit folk clubs of Greenwich Village, but in the quiet, suburban grid of Forest Hills, Queens. As teenagers, they were Tom and Jerry, a visible system of harmony modeled explicitly on the Everly Brothers. They achieved a minor hit in 1957, but the system lacked sustainability. The duo dissolved. They became disconnected nodes, untraceable, detached. Simon moved through the local scene as an observer, writing and recording under various aliases, waiting for a frequency that felt real. By 1962, the nodes reconnected. They began performing as Kane and Gar, not Simon and Garfunkel, not yet. They were operating between structures, waiting for a signature. By 1963, they landed a contract with Columbia Records. The visible system was back online. This period of artistic reinvention was the necessary darkroom for the creation of their most defining weapon. The ritual, creation in the darkness. The haunting atmosphere of the song wasn't born in a high-tech studio. It was born in a bathroom. A 21-year-old Paul Simon developed a creative ritual that bordered on sensory deprivation. He would lock himself in his parents' bathroom, turn off the lights, and turn on the faucet. He utilized the echo of the tiles and the white noise of the water to achieve a deep meditative trance. The iconic opening line, "Hello, darkness, my old friend," was a literal address to this sensory-deprived space. But darkness was also a personal code, a nickname for Art Garfunkel's roommate Sandy Greenberg, who had suddenly lost his sight. This wasn't just a poetic metaphor, it was a human connection to a friend's new reality. Influenced by existentialist thinkers like Albert Camus, Simon built a message about spiritual waste and material disillusionment. A persistent myth suggests the song was a response to the JFK assassination. While the timing was close, the final lyrics weren't set until February 19, 1964. However, the national mood of mourning acted as a passive amplifier, allowing a private meditation to be received as a public requiem. The Failure, October 1964. In March 1964, they recorded the acoustic master. 2 voices, 1 acoustic guitar, 1 upright bass, no safety net. The album, Wednesday Morning, 3 a.m., was released in October with the marketing tagline, "Exciting New Sounds." It was a total failure. In a year dominated by the high-energy frequency of the British invasion, the hushed, earnest folk of Simon and Garfunkel went almost completely unnoticed, selling fewer than 3,000 copies. The consequence was immediate and devastating. The duo broke up. Simon moved to England to disappear into the solo folk circuit. Garfunkel returned to his studies. For all intents and purposes, the mission was over. The file was closed. In the spring of 1965, an organic buzz began to build. A DJ in Boston began playing the failed track. College students in Florida requested it. The song was moving through the youth population like a ghost in the machine. Producer Tom Wilson noticed the signal. Wilson was an architect of the new folk rock sound, having just seen Bob Dylan's controversial shift to electric. On June 15, 1965, Wilson took a radical, clandestine step. Without informing Simon or Garfunkel, he brought in a crew of elite session musicians, the same operators who played on Dylan's Like a Rolling Stone. They overdubbed electric guitar, bass, and drums onto the original acoustic master. Because the original folk recording hadn't been made to a metronome, the musicians had to chase Simon's fluctuating tempo. This created a slightly disjointed, plodding quality that inadvertently captured the song's themes of an uncaring, mechanical world. The author's signature had been rewritten by a producer's vision. The remixed single hit the airwaves in September 1965. Paul Simon, performing in folk clubs in Denmark, was completely unaware of his own transformation. He discovered he was a hit by chance when he picked up a copy of Billboard magazine and saw his name on the charts. When he finally heard the overdubbed version via a 7-inch single in the mail, his initial reaction was one of horror. He was appalled by the production, feeling the electric instruments were a clumsy intrusion on his intimate sanctuary. But the public didn't care about the creator's horror. They cared about the outcome. The momentum was unstoppable, hitting number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on January 1, 1966. The success forced a reunion. Simon and Garfunkel were reborn as superstars, not by choice, but by the demand of the system. A warning in the neon glow, decoding the lyrics. The power of the song stems from its sophisticated critique of modern communication. The title is an oxymoron. Silence is not an absence, but a tangible, growing force. The song's lyrical core delivers a sharp critique of modern alienation and the breakdown of authentic communication. Talking without speaking. This phrase indicts the prevalence of superficial, hollow interaction in society. It describes conversations that are verbose, yet void of genuine emotion, honesty, or meaningful connection, a mechanical exchange of pleasantries that ultimately communicates nothing of substance. It highlights the fear of true vulnerability and the preference for safe, scripted social rituals over difficult, authentic engagement. The Neon God. This powerful metaphor personifies the twin idols of contemporary devotion, rampant consumerism and ubiquitous technology. The neon god represents the blinding artificial light of commercialism and the distracting glow of screens that collectively demand mindless worship and attention. This false deity offers fleeting, shallow gratification and an illusion of community, replacing spiritual or humanistic pursuits with the pursuit of material wealth and technological immersion. This devotion enforces the silence by distracting people from their inner lives and from engaging deeply with others. The authentic words of the prophets. The song posits a grim yet hopeful truth about the location of wisdom. The authentic words of the prophets, the genuine insights, revolutionary ideas, and unfiltered truths no longer found in sanctioned pulpits or respected academic halls. Instead, they exist only in the forgotten, gritty, and marginalized corners of urban life, scrawled on subway walls and whispered in the decaying tenement halls. These are the overlooked spaces where the marginalized reside and where the veneer of polite society is stripped away, allowing raw truth to surface as underground dissenting graffiti, the last desperate cries of genuine communication. Silence like a cancer grows. This is the song's ultimate conclusion. The ultimate danger is not the neon god itself, but the pervasive, unchecked silence it fosters. Silence is characterized not as a peaceful state, but a malignant, aggressive disease, a cancer that spreads insidiously throughout the social body. If this void of true communication and critical thought is allowed to persist, it will inevitably consume the very foundation of human connection, societal critique, and collective empathy, leaving behind a sterile, isolated, and ultimately doomed world. It is a stark warning that apathy and unresponsiveness are self-destructive forces. If the 1965 remix made the song a hit, the 1967 film The Graduate made it an immortal icon. Director Mike Nichols used the song as the internal monologue for Benjamin Braddock, Didn't Choose. The airport, a liminal space of passivity. The airport is introduced not merely as a setting for transition, but as a crucible establishing the protagonist's profound passivity. It is a sterile, transient environment that mirrors his current state, neither here nor there, perpetually in transit but unable to move forward emotionally. The relentless noise and impersonal bustle of the airport ironically highlight his internal stillness and detachment. This location emphasizes his role as an observer rather than an active participant in his own life, a man awaiting a departure he cannot fully commit to. The bus, the subversion of the happy ending. The final sequence on the bus is the film's most devastating structural move, deliberately subverting the expectation of a conventional resolution or happy ending. Instead of signifying a journey toward reconciliation or a fresh start, the bus becomes a confined, inescapable space that underscores the enduring nature of the central conflict. It suggests that the profound, defining silence, the emotional distance, the unspoken trauma, the inability to connect authentically has not been resolved by the superficial conclusion of the narrative. Rather, that silence has actively followed the characters, integrating itself into their future. The journey continues, but the fundamental, isolating quiet remains their unwanted companion, implying that escape is not found in a change of scenery, but in a difficult internal confrontation that has yet to occur. The song's capacity for transcendent emotional weight has been repeatedly demonstrated in moments of profound public significance. 1981, the Central Park Reunion. An iconic performance for an estimated 500,000 people marked a moment of profound urban communion. In an era often characterized by cynicism and fragmentation, the song facilitated a powerful shared experience, momentarily dissolving the individual's sense of isolation into a vast, harmonious collective. It became a soundtrack for transcendent connection within the monumental density of the city. 2011, post-9/11 Ground Zero. Years after the terrorist attacks, a solo acoustic rendition at the site of national tragedy stripped the song down to its raw, foundational grief. The famous line, "Hello, darkness, my old friend," shed its original context of youthful existential angst. The darkness was no longer a metaphor for personal alienation, but became a direct, somber expression of national mourning, communal loss, and the silent reflection required after a seismic historical shock. 2015, the Disturbed phenomenon. Decades after its folk rock origins, the band Disturbed released a dramatic, operatic cover that unexpectedly transformed the song into a global metal anthem. Amassing over 1 billion views, this rendition proved the universality and robustness of the core message. It exchanged the original's gentle, introspective whisper for a cathartic, powerful roar, demonstrating that the foundational message about communication breakdown and silent despair could not only withstand a radical shift in volume and genre, but could also gain new, aggressive urgency for a contemporary audience. This cover served as a testament to the song's architectural resilience, confirming that its structure of meaning could support any weight or style. The journey from the bathroom tiles of Queens to the Library of Congress teaches us one final law. The only way to restore connection is through the private confrontation with the dark. The words of the prophets are still there, written on the subway walls and tenement halls, waiting for someone to stop the noise and start listening. I'm the darkness of orbital resonance today. Say hello. Let's keep exploring the resonance together.